Our generation has grown up with a fear that no other has ever had to deal with, and that is the fear of walking into a public place and being gunned down. Mass murder from people with easy access to weapons is an occurrence we hear about far too often in the United States, and it's just unavoidable to hear about if you tune into the news on a regular basis. Therefore, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives should initiate mental health screenings for all gun owners and those who wish to own a firearm. Personally, I love to I love to hunt and enjoy taking my gun to the range. I have a concealed weapons permit and I lawfully take it where I please. I would gladly be screened for my mental health if required, but that doesn't mean I should be ignorant to the fact that mass shootings taking place in the United States are becoming more frequent, along with mental illness and depression. First, what I mean by more frequent is that I am establishing mass murders as a rate, not total murders. There is a difference, being that mass murders are classified as the killing of 3 or more people at one given event, so to speak. We can see this trend painted out by looking at statistics. And from 1982 to 2010, mass shootings had an average interval of 200 days between each other. Obviously, towards the more recent years, we tend to see more and more of these mass murders occur that were outliers in the data, causing it to bring the number down to 200. Compare that with 2011 through 2014, when the average interval was just a mere 64 days on average. That sounds about right. The 200 days honestly seemed fake when I read it right away. The study not only just accounted for what the FBI uses for criteria to label mass murder, which I said previously was 3 or more killings, but also went further by upping the kill count to 4 people, and not only in public places, and only in public places, excluding private property such as the home of the victim or of whoever was the murderer. That leaves a lot of mass murders not being put into the data, but these are the types we see in the news, and that is why they are relevant. Not only is this trend increasing, but so is mental illness. Not many people understand that depression is a mental illness. These people are lost and don't always have hope in tomorrow like they used to and like some of us do. In 2013, the CDC reported that antidepressant prescriptions have risen 400% in just the last 20 years. That's shocking, but mostly sad. And honestly, perhaps there was just hardly anyone taking antidepressants back in the day, and now people are just getting the proper health care they need. For this reason alone, it is so crucial to not always believe percents, because a 100% increase can be from 1 to 2, or 100 million to 200 million. Anyways, I thought the same thing and figured healthcare back in the day wasn't, good enough or anything. And then I read into it and did my own thing, researched it, and I found out that in 1998 there were over 11 million Americans prescribed antidepressants compared to 23 million in 2010, and it's only gone up. So it's not just a small number, and as if there were no doctors to give people antidepressants back in the day. But how come this isn't brought to light? Trends of increasing mental illness. Perhaps many people go untreated. Mental illness is not being exposed enough among the public. Well, let's look at stuff that no one ever talks about and will never be put on Fox News. In just 20 years, from 1987 to 2007, hardly enough time for one generation to even grow up, people who received SSI or SSDI increased 2.5 times. That's absurd, really, considering people are having smaller families. But what really just dumbfounded me, after reading this and other statistics I've said, was finding out that as of 2014, there were 12 states that had not reported more than 100 mental health documents and records to the National Background Check System. Can you guess one of those states? South Dakota. 100 people out of our roughly 800,000 people, that would account for 0.0001% of the total population. Well, what happened to bipolar disorder increasing and antidepressants being dispensed out like candy? Does it not count? We certainly have a mental illness epidemic in the United States. Numbers do not lie. And while many could already believe that from what I've said, the single most appalling number is 46%. 46% of our people in the United States meet the criteria for mental illness. This was found by the National Institute of Mental Health. Yes, this accounts for the vast majority. No, it does not count for toddlers and young kids. Regardless, we're talking about in the ballpark of 100 to 150 million people, and that's just in our nation alone. Are all of them hopeless and incapable of making decisions? Absolutely not. But without proper referral from doctors to those who do background checks, how can we ever know what the true number is? Ultimately, we have to face our problems and not run from them. We do not need to ban guns. What we need is background checks and more files on hand for those who have mental illness. We have the medical equipment, technology, and ultimately the manpower to achieve a safer America. So, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, they should initiate mental health screenings for all gun owners and those who wish to own.